Hey, how's everyone going? Today is Mother's Day, so I'd like to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. This is the first video I've uploaded on my channel since December, and I was just wanting to give you all an update on what happened and why I've been away from the channel once again. And I know I've been really inconsistent for the past year or two, but if you see the title of this video, that's kind of what I want to talk about today. So a little backstory. I don't know. I'm going to try to keep this just all one video, not cut anything. But if I need to take a break, then I will. It just depends on how I feel. This has probably been one of the hardest videos I've ever had to make. I've been wanting to make this video for a couple months now, and every time I go to do it, I can't. But basically, my mom has been in really poor health for the past, I think, 5 years, yeah. So whenever me and Ryan first started the channel, back in the old days, the original MVT, it was back around 2015. And after we got done shooting one of those videos, we actually went back to what was my mom and dad's house at the time, and that's where I lived at the time. So I was just out of high school, like 2 or 3 years out of high school. And basically, we almost found my mom dead that day. That was right after, we filmed our video. We was feeling good about stuff. But it was before we blew up or anything. But it was literally the day after we shot our very first video. That was the Shit Ricer Say with Ryan's old Lancer. Basically, my mom had gotten pneumonia, and she didn't really know she had it. Like, that morning that we found her almost dead, she was kind of talking out of her head and wasn't acting right, but she was up and walking around normal. And my dad's the one that found her, and if it wasn't for him, she wouldn't have made it that day. She was in the hospital for 2 weeks. Her body went septic, and but she made it out of it. And that was just the beginning of a tough road ahead for her. And yeah, so that, from then on, she had to be on oxygen. She wasn't the same, like, from what I remember as a kid, she wasn't the same. Here we go. So fast forward to January 1st of this year, New Year's Eve, going to New Year's Day. I got a call telling me that my mom was unresponsive, like we found her before. And I needed to go to the hospital, but she had been in the hospital a week or two before, and they released her, and she was doing better. She told me she was doing better. We had Christmas together, and then 6 days later, she goes to stay at a friend's house, and her friend gets a hold of my sister, and that's how the news got to me. So my sister stays home because she has a young kid and don't want to have to worry about him getting something at the hospital. And I show up to the emergency room at the hospital, and they won't let me back to see my mom. I'm not sure why, but I spend New Year's Day, like the New Year's Eve and the New Year's Day, in the hospital. And they finally let me go back to see her, and they had her sedated. And I still thought everything was going to be alright at that point. I didn't know what was to come. So they basically tell me that they think she's going to get better, everything's going to be fine. So I'm like, okay, I want to head home for the night, get some sleep, and I'll be back early in the morning. It was about 3 or 4 a.m. at this point. And they transport her up to ICU, and the ICU nurse calls me and basically says, I need to get there now. And I was like, you know, at the time I was like, you know, how bad is it? And she's like, it's bad. And so I drop everything, I go there, and you know, all the family comes in and stuff, and I don't go to sleep. I'm just, you know, I go to her room, I sit with her, and the entire time I kept thinking about how she was going to make it. And at 2 p.m. roughly on New Year's Day, is when she passed. That's when I lost my mom. And I'm not telling this story to you all to feel bad for me, but I just, you know, I want to get this out there on Mother's Day to let you all know that, you know, they're not always going to be there. And this is probably the closest I've ever been to someone that I've lost. And I tell this video what I did because it's something I never, like, just us as a family, we haven't said to each other very often. Like, you know, we're just not that kind of family. I don't know, like, we all know we care for each other, but you know, I could probably count on 2 hands how many times I told her I loved her since I started high school, you know. And sorry. And yeah, so it's been pretty tough for me, you know, just adjusting to everything. The day it happened, I don't know if y'all have ever lost a close person, someone close to you, but everything was so quiet. You know, I drive home, I don't have the radio on, everything's just dead quiet. And I don't know, it's like, it's just, I stepped out of my car in the driveway and there was no thoughts going through my head. You know, it's like everything just stopped, like time stopped. And you know, you just hear everything, like birds in the trees, cars driving on the road, the wind rustling the leaves, everything just quiet. And no sooner did I make it home, you know, the funeral home's calling me to make funeral arrangements. And at the time, I wasn't really, like, I don't know, like, it's not that I wasn't upset, but I wasn't, like, showing my emotions very much. It's just, I don't know, that's just how I am. But it's been a mental thing for me for the past 3 or 4 months. And I kept wanting to come back to YouTube and start filming again, because that's the one thing I did in my life that I felt like my mom was truly proud of me for. You know, like that's what she'd always talk about. She would show all my videos to all her friends. She'd always try to think of ideas for me. Sorry. Trying to keep it together here. But she'd always try to think of ideas for me. She'd always show her friends my videos, everyone she met. That's all she'd talk about. And yeah, there's things I wanted to do. Like, I wanted to get the car running and do one of those reaction videos, you know, where people take their mom or dad for a ride with them, and you know, just get a reaction from, you know, like the carbon turbo and stuff. And I never got to do that. And she always wanted to go to Australia. And that was always because she wanted to go so bad. That's like the one place I wanted to go to my whole life. And I always thought about how, you know, if I succeed well on YouTube and have that extra money to be able to take her over to Australia, how awesome that'd be. I never got to do that. But the one thing I don't want to do now is let my mom down again. I really want to make a comeback on YouTube. I got a bunch of videos filmed with the car I'm going to be releasing over the next couple weeks, and I would like to make this car a tribute to my mom. I think it's gonna be a car I hold on to for the rest of my life, as far as I know. Like I like this car that much, and my mom would always talk about it, and I'd always talk to her about, you know, getting it running and stuff with the turbo. And yeah, so this is going to be in memory of my mom. I want to do like a full build and stuff on it. You know, I want to restore it. I want to fix all the rust holes, get it painted, and just to go from there. You know, I'll swap it down the road like we originally talked about. I'm not sure at this point in time how I'm going to be able to do that. Since I've been away from YouTube so much, I don't really have the funds right now to throw into it. You know, there's some companies that help out, and you know, with some kind of sponsorships here and there, like Max Peating Rods, they sent me some coilovers for it and stuff like that, so that does help. But you know, within the next year or two, I'd like to have this car fully restored, and you know, just know that my mom's always riding shotgun with me. But yeah, I'm just gonna wrap this video up here. That's all I really wanted to say, talk about. Like I said, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Happy Mother's Day to my mom. Got some flowers for today for Mother's Day. It never happened too often, but it's a thought that counts, right? But yeah, yeah, I think that's, can't really think of anything else I have to say. I'm going to end this video with a little treat. Hopefully you all enjoy it for things to come. And I look forward to seeing you all in the comment section. So have a great Mother's Day, and I'll see you next week.